Hey, it's Randy from Lamb of God, and you're watching Heavy Consequence.
First off, I want to put an order in for a falafel sandwich for lunch because that was one of the funnier headlines we've had this year, and it blew up. And I
It
got a
just
kick out of
shows
that one.
how, dude, it's so stupid, though. It's so annoying. I'm sitting there talking to two hardcore guys and just make an offhand remark. And then all of a sudden, everywhere it's like they changed their name because it's a falafel restaurant. I mean, it's just something you say off the top of your head, and people are like, that's premeditated things. I like falafel, you know? It's funny how, like, what grabs people's attention, I suppose.
Yeah. You recently put out this essay on your Substack. It's kind of a call to action. To quote it in part, you said, "Do not remain silent in the face of all this cruelty, inhumanity, and corruption." What motivated you to just put that out there for the public to see?
It's kind of self-explanatory, isn't it? You know, read the essay. It's like that explains everything, you know? I think people are just beaten down now. A lot of people feel as if their voice doesn't matter and that their vote doesn't matter, and they're becoming ground down by the daily insanity that is life here now, you know? I mean, everything is constantly exploding, it seems like, not just here in America, but everywhere. And people, if they want things to get better, they have to remain engaged, right? Tweeting and having this online outrage and stuff is not enough. You have to become politically engaged. Sometimes you have to protest, sometimes you have to go to the ballot box. And the selection of candidates we have been presented from both parties is less than ideal, to put it mildly. So I think people have to start reading up on issues. They have to start reading up on candidates. They have to start looking at candidates and asking, where's their money coming from? Ever since Citizens United, that decision where basically corporations are given personhood legally as far as donating to political campaigns, uh, our electoral process has been just corrupted, you know? And so we need candidates who are not beholden to corporations and special interest groups. It's time for people to start looking deeply at their local politicians, at their Congress people, to become engaged, to act like they give a fuck, rather than just sitting here and hand wringing silently or in some weird social media echo chamber.
On those same lines, I spoke with Ken Casey, the singer of Dropkick Murphys, 3 weeks
Yes.
ago. They're one of
Yes.
the most
Wonderful.
outspoken bands right now.
Yes.
I said, "Are you surprised that more bands aren't speaking out given the current administration?" I wanted to get your take on maybe why more bands aren't speaking out and on what's going on.
I think it's this court of public opinion, which is false. Social media is not social. In the beginning, it used to be a place where people exchanged ideas, just like the internet. Things have changed rapidly. So, within these online echo chambers, if you say anything, I'm sure there'll be comments about this somewhere. People are pretty vociferous online. Oh, well, you're a Nazi or you're a libtard or whatever. There's a lot. They're comfortable like name calling and all this stuff. In the real world, for the most part, that doesn't happen. And I think that there is the online culture, which has led to many problems. I think particularly with young people, there's this sense of judgment of, if I say something, I'm going to be judged. Well, yeah, of course. And I think it's amplified because now everybody has a voice. I didn't start going to punk rock shows when I was younger because I gave a fuck what other people thought. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not Taylor Swift. Not that, she's a bad person or anything, but I'm not a mass entertainer or whatever. I don't care about appeasing the algorithm or streaming numbers or any of that bullshit. You know what I mean? I just don't care. I come from the underground music scene. That's just the way it is. The world I come from has always been comes from a political background, man. You know, so I think there's this false feeling of disaster will unfold if you voice your opinion. You're gonna lose this or that. Get over it. Grow a spine. That's my answer. You know.
And you guys are not afraid to tackle these subjects on the new album. A couple of songs really stood out to me as, they might be metaphoric in their lyrics, but Parasocial Christ and Bully seem to really directly address what's going on with our current president and the administration. Is that fair to say?
Parasocial Christ, I mean, you could certainly apply it to the administration, but in discussing like this online culture, that song originally came about when TikTok was going to be canceled, right? Like, remember when they were going to make TikTok illegal and they shut it off for a day or something, and people lost their fucking minds, right? They're like, "Oh my God, my business, my life, all this stuff is going to go down the drain because of TikTok. This is the end of the world." People like fully melting down because I was following this, and to me, that's ludicrous. That you would place your entire identity, your pretty much sole means of artistic expression or personal expression, and your business in the hands of frankly, a foreign owned corporation, you know? And when that can be snatched away from you, there goes everything. You know what I mean? So that's not a good life plan. And I was paying a lot of attention to that. And then I was realizing these people who have built these followings and so forth, some of them surely as social media, like celebrities or whatever, why are people bothering to pay attention to them? Like the minutia of their lives. Why are people bothering to pay attention to the minutia of musicians' lives, politicians' lives? Like, why do they have cults of personality built around them? Like the Living Color song, Cult of Personality. You know what I mean? They said it way back in the day. It's foolish. It's foolish. And so whether it be an entertainer or a politician, like devoting so much attention to this person you will never meet, most likely, and who does not give a fuck about you. It's a losing proposition. It's this weird divorce between what matters and what you give your attention to. If you were going to pay attention to a politician, like, and learn deeply about a politician, wouldn't you want to know about their policy rather than like, I don't know, what clothes they're wearing or whatever? It's crazy. It's crazy how much people pay attention to superficial things. So that's what the impetus for that song was.
There's some interesting thing going on musically also with this album. The song in particular that really stuck out to me with this El Vacio.
El Vacio.
Yeah, El Vacio. One of the more melodic songs in Lamb of God's catalog, I think it's fair to say. Almost like a Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds quality. And then it kind of gets a little heavy. And I'd like to hear more about.
I would think Birthday Party era Nick Cave. Very much an influence on that song.
I'd like to hear more about that one and that just going in that musical direction with that one as well.
I don't write Lamb of God's music. I have precisely one riff on a Lamb of God record, and that is the chorus to Resurrection Man. I wrote that. I'm very proud of it. By I wrote it, I mean I hummed it to Mark Morton and he played it, right? Because I can't. But I'm like, do this, and he did. So I'm very, very proud of that. I don't write our music. That being said, I had this idea for a song, a conceptual idea for a song, of song structure, and song tonality. And I wrote this very elaborate 3 or 4 paragraph description with references and so forth of what I wanted, what I had in mind. And I sent it to Mark. I was like, hey, I have an idea for a song, you know? Because sometimes he'll do that with me. He's like, why don't you write a song about this? So, but this was the first time I'd ever like tried to bring any sort of sonic direction, you know, like, and so I sent it to him and he's like, okay, I'll take a whack at it. And what he came back with is not what I had envisioned, right? But that's the way bands work. That's the beautiful thing about it, you know. He took what I had sent him and filtered it through his particular musical perspective as a guitar player, and that is the music for El Vacio. Like I said, I do not write our music, but I did say, hey, try this, and that's what he came up with. If there are 2 people that I wish were still alive, and I've talked about this before, to comment on what's going on in our society right now, it's Hunter S. Thompson and Dave Brockie. And both of them were brilliant, you know, sarcastic, sardonic people who were very insightful while giving you a laugh, you know, a harsh laugh, but a laugh nonetheless. And so I wish both of those people were still here. And of course, Dave was a dear friend of mine. So I wrote the first verse. It's about Hunter S. Thompson. Anybody who's familiar with his writing will recognize some of the phrasing and stuff, you know. And then the second verse is about Dave. And I sat at Dave's grave in Hollywood Cemetery in Richmond and finished writing that verse while I was sitting there and wishing he was still here to make me laugh, particularly because of Dave. That song has a lot of personal meaning to me, and I enjoy it. It's a little bit different.
Oh, actually, I want to ask about the last song on the album because I don't know if it's just me. It's called Devise, Destroy. I don't know if it's a nod to Sepultura's Refuse, Resist, or if I'm just reading too much into it because it even has a little bit of a Sepultura vibe to it. And is that fair to say?
That's pretty fair to say.
Okay.
That's very fair to say. That's what I have to say on that. Max is really good at writing like 1-2 word choruses, you know?
Cool. And another thing you got, and it's turning into an annual thing, is this Headbangers boat. What do you like about playing the cruise as opposed to just regular concerts on land, if you will?
You can go to the bathroom whenever you want. You can go to your own cabin and go take a poop, not in a porta potty.
That's a good thing.
It's excellent. It's like a 5-day festival where you have your own shitter.
That's the headline right there. There you go. Last time I had you gave me a rundown of 10 books that you recommend that everyone should pick up. In a couple of years since I did that with you, is there a new book that you read maybe in the last year that you can recommend?
God. How many haven't I read? Yeah, I enjoyed a book called Survival of the Richest by Douglas Rushkoff. It's a rather grim look at how billionaires view the impending collapse of society and how they may in fact be trying to hasten it in order to profit off of it. Disaster capitalism.